Now let's talk about impeachment. Republicans are saying that they're going to launch an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden based on allegations they've been unable to substantiate. And Matt Gaetz has been saying even that if they don't get a floor vote on launching this impeachment inquiry, then he's going to call for the removal of Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. And we also talked about Marjorie Greene saying she's going to make a condition of her supporting funding the government, an impeachment inquiry. Lauren Boebert saying she's going to force a vote. And so this is definitely being pushed by the right flank of the GOP. But not the entire House Republican caucus is on board. And Ken Buck, as we've looked at in the past, but I have a new example for you here, is calling out his own party in an interesting fashion. Now admitting, I don't think the evidence is there, guys. And I'll show you that in a moment. But first, here is Matt Gaetz revealing just how strong he wants to pressure Kevin McCarthy to make this happen. Then we'll get to Ken Buck.
I have traveled the country and spoken to so many Americans. They're disillusioned with House Republicans right now. They think that we have not put up a substantial battle to defeat the worst elements of this Biden administration. I worked very hard in January to develop a toolkit for us to be able to reorient the House of Representatives in a productive and positive way. I don't believe we've used those tools as effectively as we should have. And when we get back to Washington in the coming weeks, we have got to seize the initiative. That means forcing votes on impeachment. And if Kevin McCarthy stands in our way, he may not have the job long.
He may not have the job long. This is what happens, Kevin McCarthy, Republicans, moderate Republicans, when you placate, when you allow for this type of Republican to become so prominent, powerful, and influential within your party. And that's what happened. We've seen Kevin McCarthy trying to make happy people like Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Greene, Lauren Boebert, and some of the other more extreme Republicans. The MAGA Republican part of his party he wants to keep happy, but the more you do that, the more they're going to ask for and boss you around. And then here is Ken Buck on CNN admitting what we've been talking about for a while now, which is you're going to impeach him or at least open an inquiry into impeaching him or in relation to impeaching him based on allegations that you don't have evidence to substantiate, at least right now. And that's very important to have.
I wanted to get your take on your colleague, Congressman Matt Gaetz, saying he is prepared to force a floor vote on impeaching President Biden. And if Speaker McCarthy blocks the effort, he is threatening to make a motion to oust Speaker McCarthy. What do you think of that?
Well, I think Speaker McCarthy has said a number of times that he wants to bring a vote on the impeachment inquiry, not necessarily the impeachment, but the impeachment inquiry. So I think he and Congressman Gaetz are on the same page there. I don't think that there is an appetite right now for a motion to vacate Speaker McCarthy. I think that we have three committees that are working very hard on uncovering evidence of Hunter Biden's wrongdoing. They are looking to see if there is a connection with Joe Biden. If they reach that point where they can find evidence of a connection, fine. I think the Republicans will move forward with an impeachment inquiry. Right now, I'm not convinced that that evidence exists, and I'm not supporting an impeachment inquiry.
That's interesting, too. He didn't even word it as, I'm not sure we've found the evidence or we can present the evidence. We don't have the evidence with us, but we know it's out there, which is sort of more what you'd hear from a lot of the other Republicans. There he's saying, I don't even know if it exists, meaning I don't even know if that connection is there. And the connection being referred to is the corrupt part on the part of Biden would be if he was connected to the business dealings of Hunter Biden. Obviously, if Hunter Biden was out doing business things and then giving Joe Biden money for decisions that Biden makes as vice president that benefits businesses, all that would be horrible, criminal. And we would want accountability for something like that. But they haven't been able to actually prove that that happened whatsoever. And so Ken Buck, even though not someone I agree with almost ever, is accurately assessing that. And he has been saying stuff like this for a while when it comes to impeachment. Remember this?
Why do you believe that Speaker McCarthy in the last 24, 36 hours has begun to lean more into the notion of opening an impeachment inquiry?
This is impeachment theater. We right now are starting the appropriations process, and there is not a consensus on the Republican side about what the numbers should be. Kevin McCarthy promised when he was running for Speaker one set of numbers, and then he made an agreement with President Biden for the debt ceiling increase on another set of numbers. So right now, he has got to convince the public that he's credible and that Republicans have a duty to follow him.
Impeachment theater, and like we talked about in the past, Kim Buck believes that Kevin McCarthy is distracting from what Kim Buck finds to be more important, being appropriations, and the debate over cutting spending will be what Buck wants. And he thinks Kevin McCarthy is not going to get as many concessions from Democrats on that when it comes to funding the government. And so he can kind of make people happy within his party with the impeachment stuff while he does things that they maybe previously would be unhappy with when it comes to funding. I do want to read, because I mentioned the allegations against Biden once again from this transcript with the bombshell Republican whistleblower, or not whistleblower, the witness they brought in, who was the former business associate of Hunter Biden, Devin Archer, got asked about this. He was supposed to blow the lid off of the corruption of Joe Biden, got asked about, is there a connection? Question, so based on everything you saw, heard, and observed, did you have any knowledge of Joe Biden having any involvement with Burisma? No. And we've gone through more specifically this transcript in the past. It's not based on the facts. It's based on trying to, two big things, just purely attack President Biden because he's the political opponent, right? But also, if they can portray Joe Biden to be corrupt, then Donald Trump's corruption seems less significant. Donald Trump's actual, at least serious allegations of criminal activity seems less serious potentially to voters. And that's what's going on here. I'll close by saying Axios reports top Senate Republicans are far from enthusiastic about the House GOP's moves toward an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Some senators say the evidence is still too thin to merit such a drastic step, while others simply don't want to go through another trial after former President Trump's historic dual impeachments. But see, that second part's saying the same thing. If Biden was bribed, as they accuse him of, heck yeah, impeach him. It's the fact that there's no evidence to prove that. So for both the people who say the evidence is too thin and others just saying, I don't want a bunch of impeachments after the Trump impeachment, both agree there's not enough evidence. Otherwise, they would support, and they should support, impeachment if there was evidence for the things that Republicans are accusing President Biden of. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.